This is part 2 of the resume writing series on structure. In this video, we're talking about grouping your experience by relevance. And we are going to be using the same 3 samples from the back of the resume writing guide, the How to Write a Resume booklet, Jordan's student, Erica's student, and Caitlin's student, to illustrate the different ways of grouping by relevance. We're also going to be using an earlier version of Jordan's resume. So let's start with that and then we'll look at the other 2. So as a reminder, Jordan is a junior and she is looking for an internship, and she has no accounting experience yet, which is why she included her selected coursework. But as for her experience, she has started with business experience. She's grouped her business experiences together because that's related to the kind of environment where she wants to work. She has grouped her what is called additional experiences together because they have demonstrated transferable skills in leadership and communication. And then she has a blurb down here, have held additional positions that essentially what that means to the employer or the person who's reviewing the resume is, I've done more, but you probably don't care. Feel free to ask me about those things. So that's how those ended up. But let's look at how Jordan started, which is how most of you probably have started your experience section on your resume. So most students have one big experience section. That is very typical. And in any section, you need to go from most recent to oldest, so present to past. If we look back at these examples, you'll see that within this section, we start with to present, and then we go back to 2019. And likewise with the other examples in any section, 2019, 2018 to 19, and so on. So because of that, this is not arranged in the way that is going to make for the best findability for the employer. She's going to want to group these by relevance. And I encourage you, if this is how you have this set up on your resume, to begin by simply cutting and pasting one at a time, asking yourself what is related on your resume. So administrative assistant is this first position. The next one is orientation leader. I ask myself, is my orientation leader position related to my administrative assistant position? No, it is not. So I'm going to just hit the enter key and lower that a little bit. Business office assistant. Is that related to either orientation leader or administrative assistant? Well, yes, it's related to administrative assistant. They were both in that kind of work environment. So I'm going to move that up there so that those 2 are grouped. Now I'm going to go to my next position. Coach. Is that related to orientation leader? Well, yes, I used some of the same skill sets that I used as an orientation leader. So let me just separate that a little bit before I look at my final position on there. In my final position, cook. Does that relate to orientation leader or coach kind of things? Or does that relate to administrative assistant business? Neither. So it looks like I have grouped these into 3 areas of relevance. Now I need to start naming them by relevance. And so for Jordan, in her purpose of an internship in the field of accounting, she can't call these relevant experiences. They're not relevant to her pursuit of an internship in accounting, but they are, and they're not even related to accounting, but they relate in terms of being business related, which is why she calls them business experience. And then she wonders what else could I call? What could I call these 2? And there are lots of things she could call them. She could even call them, if she wanted to. Lots of students have leadership experiences, so it would not be wrong to name those leadership experience. But on her resume, she has called them additional experience, and there is nothing wrong with calling them additional experience. It simply means these are experiences that have provided me with transferable skills that I think might be important to you. And then her cook experience is really not related to either of those. It's not related to anything she's interested in. If it was, she might have kept on calling this leadership experience, and then she might have called this additional experience. There would have been nothing wrong with that. What she chose to do was include a statement simply have held additional positions and replaced the position, and there might have been another position on there as well on a previous one. So it ends up looking like this, and she has grouped them by relevance. That's what I would like for you to do. Let's just take a quick look at the other two examples. So there was Jordan and how that ended up. Erica's experience has been grouped. She has grouped them into two areas, and it's because she is interested in positions that are either communication related or sales and marketing related. So as she grouped hers, she realized that she would be interested in a full-time position in either of those areas. And so that might have emerged, and this kind of thing might emerge for you as you are grouping your existing experiences. And finally, Caitlin, in the first segment of the structure series, we talked about how she was a psychology major and interested in human resources. And so as she was looking at her experiences, we talked about how she did not have human resources experience, but did have relevant human services experience. We wouldn't necessarily call that section relevant because it's not directly relevant to human resources, but she does have coursework that is directly relevant. And then she has human services experience, which is more directly transferable than her additional experience, which she also includes. She also has a research experience, section that is related to her interest area, and simply lists her additional experience without any descriptions because they are not directly related, but they do show that she understands what it's like to show up for a job regularly, that she knows how to work with people as a server and as a salesperson. So those are important elements as well. So that's how you group your experiences by relevance. And in our next section of the video series, we'll be talking about starting ideas on the left side and indenting where appropriate.